If you have around 10 minutes, I'm going to show how you can recreate this in Photoshop. The first thing you're going to want to do is load the first picture of your player onto the canvas, like you can see I already did. And then I wanted to add like the bowl game trophy in the background because he plays for Washington State, and whenever I made this a few days ago, they were playing in this bowl game. So I loaded the trophy in. Then I went over to select subject and select and mask. And right here, I was just messing with the shift edge to try to see if I could mask it a little bit better, but it actually masks pretty well. So right here, I wanted to put the layer of the bowl trophy in the back and make it smaller because I tried to make it a little bit bigger at first and I didn't think it looked right. So I was just messing with it right here. And as you can see, I went ahead and added that second player picture onto the canvas. And I just found both of these pictures on Instagram. And I didn't really like how the trophy looked in full color, so I went ahead and added a black and white layer and a levels layer directly over the trophy. And I make sure that it's only affecting the trophy, and I don't put the black and white and the the levels mask for the whole graphic. You just only want it to affect the trophy. The next thing that I'm going to do is add in the tweets that I went ahead and used for the graphic. And all of them are related to him, obviously, or like a play that he made in the game. And I don't want to keep the tweet exactly like it is right here, like just in the rectangle or the square. So whenever you load it on, you want the background to kind of be a little bit darker. So after you load the tweet in, you can just go directly over here and change it to darken because it was at normal. And then you can change it to darken or color blur or linear blur, like I just put it on. And it erases like all the everything in the tweet that isn't the words and the logo. I mean the profile picture, not the logo. Right here, I was adding in the background that I went ahead and used instead of the first one that I had. I tried to use both of them, but this one, after I lowered the opacity right here, I thought this one fit a lot better with the tweets. The next thing that I do right here is I wanted to add some of the Washington State red into the graphic. So I go over to the gradient tool. And my settings were messed up right here. So I had this green from a previous graphic. And it wasn't letting me change it at first for some reason. So I just went ahead and kind of put the green on the graphic, kind of like how I would want the red. And then I just went into like the right side of the graphic, double clicked on the square, and then just go in and change the color. And while you're in the gradient tool, you can click on the jersey and it will give you that exact color. So it matches perfectly. Right here is where I added the shadows underneath the trophy and his feet. What I was doing right there, I wanted to line up his foot kind of with like the edge of the trophy. I know it's like a really small detail, but sometimes it just kind of throws it off if you don't make it look right. And to make the shadows look like this, to kind of make it look realistic, you just want to go to the brush tool and then change the size of the brush to like an oval size or an oval shape like this. And then lower the opacity a little bit. And then I wanted to create a new layer for this front shadow, for the front foot, because the opacity is going to be different. So I just want to control that by itself and not mess with the previous shadows that I made or shadow. Then I wanted to go back in and add some of the jersey back in just because I felt like it was a little bit too blurred between the jersey and the picture of him catching the football. So I just go back into the brush tool, make sure the brush is on the white part and not the black, so I can add it back in. And right here, I wanted to add a camera raw filter to this top picture of him. And the main things that I'm looking to do when I do camera raw filters, for the most part, is just adding texture, clarity, and the vibrance. Those are like the three main things that I usually do. And obviously each graphic is different. So the amount of clarity and texture that I add on is just going to depend on each graphic. And I always put like a camera filter on at the end for the entire graphic. So I don't want to do too much to the individual pictures, because whenever you add too much texture or clarity or whatever, it just doesn't look right. And right here, I just wanted to add in some more texture in the background, or just something to make the graphic pop a little bit more. And his number's 88, so I went online and tried to find something like this or a font that I could use possibly. But I saw this image, so I just wanted to load it in and see how it might look in the background. And I really liked it after lowering the opacity. And I went ahead and added a black and white layer to it just to try to make it blend better. And then I also faded it a little bit right here using the brush tool. As you can see, I created a layer mask for the number 88 that I loaded in, and then go to the brush tool and I just kind of faded it in. I didn't have to do it, but I just felt like it made it look better. Then after doing that, I went ahead and loaded in this picture of the stadium that he plays at. It was really just to add some texture to the bottom of the graphic, because I don't know, I always feel like whenever I don't, it just leaves the graphic kind of looking empty. And then I got this signature from online for one of his coaches, their last name. So I just used the selection tool so I can add that signature in. And the last part of making this graphic is masking all the layers together so you can do one final camera filter for the entire graphic. As you can see right here, if you go back and pause it, you can see it says layer 12, like you'll see at the end. And that's because I just masked all my layers together. And you do that, well, I'm on a Mac, and you do that by holding down Command, Option, Shift, and E at the same time. You have to hold them down all at once. Command, Option, Shift, and E. And then whenever you do that, like I said, it will mask everything together. And then you just go in and do one final camera filter. And like I said, I just want to really enhance the texture, the clarity, and in this case, the reds. I wanted to make that pop. And so I'm just messing with everything right here, just to try to double check to see what looks the best. And then after I put all the filters on that I wanted, as you can see right here, it says layer 12. That's from the final camera filter where I masked everything together. And here's the final graphic. If you made it to the end, thank you for watching, and I'm going to be dropping more videos like this week. Thank you.